Hello, hello, hello. It is Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is time for the chaotic list. We're missing a couple of our usuals, but I think they'll be jumping in and it's running a little bit late. But we're gonna go on with the show, and we hope to have a good show. Of course, we got
hmm
two of our usual suspects, Maz, Mama Bear, and Anzo. How y'all doing?
I'm doing good. How you
Doing
doing?
great.
All right. See Anzo looking super with that new camera,
New webcam.
uh, new webcam. Yep, that's outstanding. And Maz finally got her new computer. You still you liking it? You learning it, Maz?
Liking it, learning it. Finally, I think I finally found an editing program that's going to work for my videos. So
Okay.
I think I'll be able to get back on that soon.
That's good.
That is outstanding. Kind of see. I'll make sure. Got the right. For some reason, this show is not showing up on my phone. I don't know why.
On YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
No, I got it.
All right, I got it now. Okay. All right. Now, tonight's topic is going to be our favorite five sci-fi movies from the year 2006. I looked on here and there's a lot of good movies. We picked the last show, just first year that came to my head. I picked it. I actually looked at it for the first time earlier today, and I was pleasantly surprised. So it shouldn't have any kind of issues about crappy movies because there are pretty good movies that came out that year. Um, I guess I will. Didn't you go first last week, Mads?
I missed last week.
Yeah, I forget. I'm sorry. I thought you was here last week. Yeah,
No, I crashed by accident.
yeah. My mind going. Well, because you weren't here last week, I will let you go first. Ladies go first, and you tell us what were your five favorite movies of the year 2006.
Well, anyone who knows me knows one movie is not that was out in 2006 is never going to make my list, so it's not even there. Um, I'm going to start. Okay, starting off number five. I'm going to say Underworld Evolutions. I'm a huge Underworld fan. Love the series in general. Uh, of all of them, I have to admit Evolutions is one of my least favorite of them, but it's still one I will go back to over and over again. For
Yeah.
number four, I'm going to say The Covenant. And it's not as well known of a movie. It's one of Sebastian Stan's early movies. And it's about the descendants of the founders of the Ipswich colony in Massachusetts. Does lean a bit towards the thriller side, but it does have the supernatural powers. It is a thoroughly enjoyable movie. I have gone back over and over again to watch it. Okay, I'm at my number three as pure cheese, but again, it's entertaining. I like the thought-provoking aspect of it, and that's Ultraviolet.
Mm-hmm.
It has some wonderful details, wonderful graphics, editing. Just even the girl with the hands where her where her feet were,
Mm-hmm.
that is beautiful. And the whole concept of the regeneration, I'm not going to go too much into it for spoilers, but definitely number three. Number two, V for Vendetta. Absolutely classic movie. It is an easily enjoyable movie over and over again. And I have to admit, every time I watch that movie, I always wind up making the same egg dish he does. He always makes it look so fantastic. But my number one is Deja Vu with Denzel Washington. I love this movie. And not just because of Denzel. If you haven't seen it, there's premonitions of what's going to happen, and he's trying to save someone's life. And it has moments that are cringy, like good cringy, like it's Denzel in its most beautiful art form. It is a great, great movie.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I remember. I remember seeing the title, but I can't remember exactly how it went. It had been so long since I seen it. I saw it on the list, so I was like, I cannot remember that movie for save my life.
Covenant actually wasn't going to be on my list originally because I didn't remember it looking at the picture. I actually had to look it up on YouTube to see the clips and the trailer. I'm like, yes, I remember that movie.
Yeah, I remember it too. I was going back looking at a trailer, to refresh my memory, but I think I can remember the gist of the synopsis.
Yeah,
Okay, that's not a bad list, man.
thank you.
All right, Mr. Anzo. Let's see what you gonna say.
Well, my internet's been messing up, so if you see me pausing, it's because it keeps chipping in and out. You
All
want to
right.
hear? You want to hear my list?
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
First off, I didn't see V for Vendetta nowhere on my list, so but it
What's wrong?
probably wouldn't have been on my picks anyways. So number 5, I'm gonna go with Ultraviolet. I thought it was a decent movie. It was okay. That's why I put it number 5. Just like Mads, I liked it for some of the reasons that it was there. Um, do this quick. Number 4 is Slither. I like Slither. I'm a big horror movie fan, and yeah, that movie was just really good. Don't remember too much. I just remember that I really liked it. Number 3, I'm going
Them giant worms or something, wasn't it?
right. Yeah, the giant worms. It used to go in their mouth or something like that. Yeah.
Mm.
Number 3 is Deja Vu. It's Denzel Washington. I love that movie. Yeah, it was about him going back in the past, and he was trying to, I think it was trying to save somebody or something like that. It was a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I'm going with Children of Men. Um, I love Children of Men. That was a really good movie.
It's
Uh,
Clive Barker, ain't it?
yeah, Baker,
Yeah.
Barker, yeah.
Clive
Yeah,
Barker. I think the same guy that played in the Inside Room with Denzel Washington.
yep. Where he's trying to protect the black woman, the first baby born in how many years. And just the story alone and everything with that, I loved it. And my number 1 movie, I'm going for Underworld Evolution. Now, to me, Underworld Evolution was the best one out of the series. Um, I remember watching it. I remember liking it. I really like number 1, but 2 for me just brought it to a different level.
That's the one where the guy was part vampire, part
Part
werewolf, right?
liking, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was, if I'm not mistaken. Evolution's the second one, right?
Yes, yes, it's the one that immediately follows.
There's
Right.
like
He's
3 of
fine.
them. I just saw the
The
third one
first
of
one.
there last week, where she's
Yeah.
like in the snow or something, and she got that white streak through her hair or something. I can't keep track of the names of them, but I know what you're talking about once you say
Mm.
certain parts of the story.
Yeah. The scene that I really like in part 2 is when they're driving in the truck and that vampire is chasing him. He's flying. He's just
Uh,
banging on the truck. Yeah. And I was a big fan of Michael too. The fact that he was half Lycan and half vampire. I really liked that aspect of it. So when they killed him off, I wasn't too happy with that. But that's my number 1 for sure.
okay, that's a good list. We got several lists, but my number 5 is X Men Last Stand. That one of my favorite X Men movie, but the fact it is a X Men movie. I had to put on the list. Um, I'm gonna always like Marvel. Well, superhero movies that's in under the Marvel genre. I'm gonna like that. So I've always that was my number 5. Even though this is one of the movies that I hate out of this franchise, again it's a comic book movie, so I took number 4 is Superman Returns. It is not one of my favorite Supermans. Um, it's slightly above Superman 4, Superman 3. It's just above those two, but I gotta show love to the superhero genre. It's a DC character. Um, it wasn't great, but it wasn't. I've seen worse. Um, there were certain parts of that movie I like. The Lex Luthor I like by Kevin Spacey. He was okay. Not the best Lex Luthor, but I could live with him.
Mm. He was
Um,
better than a recent Luther.
Yeah, much better, much better.
That's all.
Um, my number three was The Covenant. That movie I remember, if I'm not mistaken, if they use their powers too much, it would make them grow old prematurely, or it would take a real toll on their body. So I
Yes, it
believe,
would make. Yes.
so I believe the head guy, the head good guy, Dad, used his power too much, and he was like could only like he was like an invalid or something, if I remember correctly. And I knew
Hmm.
the other guy was trying to take this power from a different clan or whatever. And I remember brief parts of it. Part I really remember when they showed in the clip that he went into this truck and the truck like just destroyed the car. It was like a Mustang or something. And he was able to use his power, and as he passed through the truck, like it phased through the truck and it put all the cars and power and everything back together again. I thought it was real cool special effect. I never seen anything like that before. So that was stuck in my mind about that movie. My number two is Underworld Evolution. I love the Underworld franchise. Um, the last one was the weakest to me, but I like the Michael Corvinus story, and I like
Hmm.
I can't think of the head vampire who Selena killed, but the way he did it, he did his daughter after he found out that she slept with Lucian was just totally crazy, and the fact that Lucian had the power to control the vampires that I mean the werewolves that could transform and not and the ones that couldn't transform was a cool aspect of it. And then the second, of course, they found out the first vampire and the first werewolf and how the werewolf was trapped in that coffin, if I'm not mistaken, and the vampire brother was trying to get him out to reunite the two brothers. Still don't
Corvinus.
understand why they had to kill the dad. I don't understand that. Um, and I would think that once Selena absorbed the dad's blood, she got considerably stronger, but she still, the vampire still kind of got the best of her. But again, I like that whole, like I said, I love the Underworld
Mhm.
franchise. It's one of my favorites. I'm looking forward to the next one. And my number one is V for Vendetta. That was a good movie. I can't think of the actor's name. Hugo Weaving
Hmm.
is one of my favorite actors. I think he's underutilized in a lot of his movies. I remember him playing the voice of Megatron in one of the Transformer movies, Mr. Smith
Matrix.
in the Matrix movies. Um, and I think he played in, he was the king in one of those movies. Uh, what's the thing with the trees walking and stuff? The Hobbit,
Yes, played
Oh,
Elrond, Lord
Lord of
Elrond
the
in
Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I think
He
he
was
was the
also in
king.
Priscilla, Queen of
yeah,
the
yeah,
Desert.
yeah. He was the king, right?
Yeah, the
Hmm.
king of the elves or something.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The Woodland
Hugo Weaving.
Elves. Yes.
Yeah, Hugo Weaving is one of my favorite actors, and I like Live V for Vendetta. Fighting style, what he did, um, whole just that movie was, and it was crazy about it. Some of the stuff he was fighting for a ring shoe to this very day right now. So maybe the movie was a little ahead of its time. But that's my number one,
I
2006.
gotta watch that movie again because I don't remember any fighting in that shit.
What?
I just
Oh,
remember talking,
yeah,
talking, talking, talking,
man.
talking,
No,
talking.
You got to check those fight scenes, man.
I'm gonna have to go back to it.
He
no,
was hell.
it is an excellent movie. That's why it hit number two on my list as well. And it honestly, going back and watching it right now is
Bro, I
extremely
got the
timely.
same camera he got. What the hell are you talking about? You got the exact same camera. Logitech.
Actually, no, I don't even have a Logitech. I don't know
What
which
you got?
one I have.
The webcam what you using? What you got?
I don't even know the name of it, bro. I just bought a cheap little webcam because I couldn't find the Logitech one anywhere. So
See? Nah. Duh. I got the exact same camera he told me to buy, and he still complaining about how my picture look. But anyway, what's up, Terrence?
What's up, man?
Hey,
You, sir, have the floor. What five movies were your
Oh,
favorite
you,
during the year 2006?
oh,
In
you
fact,
want me to name?
how old were you then?
Let's see, 2006. I was in 11th grade, so about
A matter. Madam
16
Junior.
going on 17.
Okay, 16 going on 17. All right, I'm ready to hear. What's your number five?
My number five, I went with Underworld Evolution. Um, I watched pretty much all those films with my friends. It was brought to my attention by one of my friends, starting with the first one, and I thought it was interesting with the whole vampires, lichens, and all that kind of stuff. And then in that particular film, you had Celine, and then the other guy, I believe his name is Michael. They were kind of looking for clues as to what was going on between their respective species and trying to figure out why the war was happening and if there was anything that they could do to stop it. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, and the kind of make of the world in that particular universe. I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool, and I want to see how far they can take this and see if they could have me entertained the whole time. So I remember thinking the movie was cool, so that's why I had it as my number five. Number four, this movie is terrible. Uh, it's called Ultraviolet. Uh, yeah, yeah. Mila Jovovich is the star of it. So like,
Hmm.
while she has her cool points, whenever she's in something, I tend to get very worried because of this kind of storytelling that tends to follow, especially if we're talking about a franchise sort of a thing. But with this one, the story in itself, at the time when I watched it, I found it to be intriguing, but the writing was so bad, so I kind of was sitting there disappointed until I started to see how they were doing with the visuals. I'm like, okay, the visuals are cool, and the amount of creativity that they put into the fight choreography, I thought was very ambitious, and that sort of kept me from walking away from the movie. I just wish that the storytelling was better. So I feel like that's really a waste of what you really could have had a gem in the sea of films, especially the ones that came out at that time. So it's unfortunate. Um, Number three, The Covenant. Um, yeah, you had the group of guys, warlocks, any sort of warlocks or witches, for the most part, will have my attention as long as it's not like didn't really care for Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So something like The Covenant or Charmed or something like that, where you get a lot more of the fighting and the grand scale of what witches and warlocks can do with their powers. So in the context of this movie, I just remember enjoying it. Just seeing them sort of use their powers and what it does to them when they overuse it. There are consequences to being special, whether that be that somebody is trying to hunt you down, or that whatever gifts that have been given to you or that you come across, you have to use them sparingly. So I really appreciated how they worked that within the plot with the cool characters that they gave us in the movie. Um, then number two, The Prestige with uh, Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. To me, those two actors, I feel, are very underrated. Like whenever I have conversations about talented actors, not too many humans mention them, and it's really odd to me. And when it comes to Hugh Jackman, he tends to only get mentioned in regards to Wolverine, and they fail to appreciate how much talent that he has as an actor. Like when he's allowed to really stretch his wings when he gets away from the Wolverine type role, and I feel that this
Didn't in the
is
Prestige that part of his trick was that he had a twin brother?
Hmm.
yeah, hmm
Yeah.
hmm yeah, and just the whole thing where you just had the two magicians going at each other, trying to one up each other, that just really made for a very fascinating story, and I really liked the performance that Christian and Hugh gave in the movie and how they played off of each other. I thought worked really well with that type of premise. So
Yeah, I would have liked to put that movie on my list, but I never seen the whole thing. I've always seen just piece and piece of it, so I've never seen it from start to finish. But some of the things that you said in it, you were absolutely right. The chemistry between those two were really good.
yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, the first time when I watched it, there were a great number of distractions in the background. I remember I had to, go in different rooms and like raise the volume because I was at a friend's house and we had a lot of people over, but I was determined to finish the movie. Otherwise, I probably would have murdered everybody in the house because I don't like having my shows and movies get interrupted. I don't like that shit. So yeah, that's my number two. Number one is Daft Punk's Electroma.
Huh?
Um, you know that band Daft Punk.
I've never heard
The
of
ones
that.
that yeah. Are you aware of Daft Punk? The dudes that have like
No,
the robot helmets.
no,
Well,
sir.
I think
well, those
I know who you're talking about. I do. I think I know.
I know the
But
yeah,
band.
they had that song the Get Lucky. Remember that? That was like a huge hit like some years ago.
maybe
Okay, well,
Danny's looking him up now.
yeah. I mean, you can look them up. I mean, I feel like if you look them up and you just listen to a couple of their songs, I'm very certain that you have heard
Remember
them,
them? Yeah, yeah.
and there's probably one or two songs from them that you do like that you're not
Hmm.
remembering at the moment. But uh, the movie itself is about the story of two robots that are seeking to be human. And with the knowledge that I have of Daft Punk in terms of why they decided to, wear the robot helmets, and then what they did with their music and their mystery aspect in regards to their person, I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. I kind of stumbled across it accidentally. I was not looking for it, and I saw that it was there, and I read the synopsis, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know those guys. Let's see what this is about. And the film itself doesn't really have like dialogue per se. Like what you have is a lot of visuals, and you're forced to kind of just go with them, and then you're going off of their body language. You have like really subtle music in the background, and all the characters in the movie are really strange. Like you could tell like these are not people that you would come across in real life. But then you see that they're not people. They're all machines, but they're given the illusion that they're supposed to be living the life of what humans have, like teachers and doctors, the white picket fence, and the two main robots of the movie that are supposed to be Daft Punk. When they're walking about throughout their world that they're in, the other robots are looking at them weird because they're not really following the customs of that particular world. And then they go so far as to make synthetic skin for themselves to look human, as to where the other robots, they only went as far as to just wear human clothing. So they thought they were very weird. And then you had this long segment, like it must have been at least 40 minutes, where there was no dialogue, and they were just walking, going through different environments until they got to this big desert.
You
And
said 40 minutes,
yeah,
no
yeah,
dialogue,
nothing. It was
and they
just it was
and
just
they walking.
just yes, just walking. And
Did you get up out the theater?
no, I watched this at home.
Did you get your
So
money back? Okay. Okay.
so as they were walking through these different environments, I was thinking like, where are they going? And then they had this moment where they stopped, and then one decided to self-destruct. Because he, told the other robot like, activate my self-destruct mechanism, because when they were walking, they realized, okay, our own kind, they think that we are weird, and they don't understand what we're doing in our journey to become human. But then one of them, before the other, realized that he had failed in his journey to become human. So he was like, just activate my self destruct mechanism, and I'll just die right here. And the other robot was just sort of watching it. And even though they didn't have feelings, that you could tell that that other robot was like, once the countdown is over, I'm going to be left alone. So, and then he, after he watches his friend self destruct, he continues to walk for a long period, and he does the same thing. And then once that happens, that's how it ends. And I was just like, I was able to understand the narrative with absolutely no dialogue, with essentially just visuals and the make of what the characters was doing. And I feel that when it comes to most storytellers, they would find it impossible to do that. There's no way they wouldn't know
So,
how to do
so
that.
what did you get from that story? I'm missing it.
The thing of like what one decides to do to fit in, like in their desperate attempt to be different from those around them, and they have a certain idea of what they're striving to be, only to realize that once they feel that they have achieved it, they only retract that by understanding that they failed, at which point they realize that there's no point for them to continue their existence. So the best thing to do is to phase yourself out of existence entirely.
Mm, okay. Who was the director of that movie?
I want to say it was Daft Punk themselves, if I remember correctly.
What's the name of it?
It's called Electroma.
Yes. I didn't put that on my list because I thought people thought I would be crazy. I mean, I have it on my
We do.
honorable mentions, but I
We
wanted
did
to put
check
that in
it
the
out.
top 5.
I like.
Dude,
I
no, I'm with you, Terrence. You're absolutely right. Didn't need anything. Following it was, yeah. It just
well, I mean, when I was watching it,
You can't form a coherent sentence. I know that shit was crap.
shut up. You know what? Listen, I'm gonna show up late more if I'm gonna get crap like this.
So, I mean, I just really felt that there was a lot of brilliance in it, and that within 5 to 10 minutes, I had an understanding of what the story was supposed to be about to a large degree, just based on what the characters were doing. Like if you because there's no dialogue and there's no fancy effects and all this action and stuff to make people automatically say that stuff is good, you have to just pay attention to the characters. You're forced to because there's nothing else that's there. So at which point, when you feel that you have an understanding on what you're watching, then you go, okay, where is this going to end up with these two characters specifically? Because they're more important than everyone else because everyone else is sort of just blended into the background. So then once you get to the end of the journey, you then are supposed to apply that to your own life and what that means to you in terms of how you operate within society. So someone like me, when the robots were walking and you had the humans looking at them and they weren't really fitting in, that's me. Because when I'm moving throughout the world, I don't feel like I fit in with any humans, which is why I spend so much time by myself. I feel like that is much better. So I was able to sort of latch on to the narrative right away because I have an understanding of what it means to feel that way, even though those characters had no feelings.
I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chris, you're coming in last, sir. So, what are your 5?
My 5. Oh, okay. Has everybody else already gone?
Yes,
Yep.
we did.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, guys. I was helping my mom with something, and I just got home. So, really sorry about that, guys. I don't like being late for the party. So, but I guess leave it to me to make an entrance.
Better late than never.
Well, the Daft Punk, man, Terrence, that's awesome. I am very proud of you. I'm a big Daft Punk fan. I've listened to them since I think it was the mid '90s when they started. But that's awesome stuff there. Let's go number 5, A Scanner Darkly. It's a kind of it's animated, but it looks like they did. I don't know if you've ever taken an app and taken a picture and then said animate it, and it looks real, but it looks animated at the same time. That's kind of how this movie's done. It's animation, but it looks like it was filmed first, and then they used like an app or some sort of a feature to make it animated. It's an interesting mix between those two things, but Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, and Robert Downey Jr. in it. It's written by Philip K. Dick, and if you guys know me, that's Blade Runner, Total Recall, Minority Report. There's lots of movies out there that his science fiction short stories or books have been made into movies. This is one of them. It's an undercover cop in the not too distant future, gets hooked on this new drug, and it basically starts to make him lose his identity. It's really interesting. I think Keanu Reeves, if I remember right, is the main character. It's really cool visually, I think, and it's not that bad of a story. It was an interesting way for them to do a movie, I think. And I mean, they've done stuff like that before, but I don't know. And this, it kind of had that, not a full-on Matrix feel, but it was kind of a feel like that. Real interesting. Number 4, Children of Men. Takes place I think 2027. Basically, this guy who's like a bureaucrat, he used to be like this advocate or something, takes this pregnant lady to a sanctuary state that's in the sea, I think, or out at the ocean. Basically, the reason why he's doing this is because there are no more pregnant women. They are all infertile. So think of it kind of like Handmaid's. I think it's a Handmaid's Tale. Think of it kind of like that. And it's just really interesting, all the stuff that goes on. The UK is like a police state. There's like pestilence and radiation and plague going on in the United States. And it's been, I think, if I remember right, that might be the one where the United States is actually split because it's had a second civil war. I don't know. It's just really interesting.
Great movie.
Yeah. The Prestige is number 3. Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson, Christopher Nolan directed it. Basically, 2 magicians they risk everything to come up with the perfect illusion. But the way it's done, the way the movie is shot, the fact that it's kind of a period piece, but at the same time it's sci-fi. I really dig that type of stuff when it's mixed together really well. I really like that movie. Number 2, Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut.
I saw that on there, but I never saw that.
Well, it's really cool. Some people say it's better than Superman 2, the Richard Lester cut, but I think they both have their pluses and minuses.
What does it show differently that it doesn't show on the original?
Well, I was going to go into that. It included a screen test before they so the original shooting for it started in 77, 78 while they were shooting the first one. Richard Donner basically was shooting both movies at the same time because they hands shook really well together. Well, there's a screen test that they were doing in the Niagara Falls scene where they're in a hotel room. Doesn't look the same as it does in the actual released one that they did, but it's a screen test with Lois Lane and Clark Kent, or Christopher Reeves and Margot Kidder, where Margot Kidder or Lois Lane shoots Clark Kent to prove that he's Superman.
Yeah.
and when you think about it, just the way it is, she's pretty dark when she does that, because if she's wrong, she's going to kill somebody. So I think in a weird way, it actually is a better way to reveal he's Superman. 1, 2, it shows that how certain she is. I can't remember in the original one. I think it's in both. Oh no, in the original one, he kisses her to make her forget. Yeah. In this one, we get time travel again. He goes and he spins the Earth backwards again, and basically makes it so none of what happens. It's weird, and it doesn't make much sense. I don't like the alternate ending as like much better. It's just they're both meh. And then he destroys the Fortress of Solitude.
Why do that?
He uses his heat vision and blows it up.
I'm saying why?
What? Because I think he does it because he doesn't want anybody to get a hold of the secrets that are there still. I can't remember because it's been a while since I've seen it. I can't remember exactly why, but he does that. And
you seeing something, and I want to go and get it.
It's good. It's a good version. Trust me. I think they say something like 80% of it is redone because they let Richard Donner put 80% of his stuff back in. I don't know. The movie all together has some weird stuff that was taken out of it by both directors. There's actually a scene when they're at when they're in that town when they're shooting at the police and all that, when General Zod is shooting at the police in that country town.
Mhm.
Do they have two different versions of the first Superman? Because I've
No.
seen it before.
No, but
They must be edited, because there's a part where he goes, when he first encounters Lex Luthor, and he puts him through fire and he puts him through ice and stuff. And then when you see it on TV, sometimes they don't show that.
It's because so TV and vice versa, the movie versions, what they used to do, and they still kind of do occasionally, is they would take cut scenes to kind of get viewers to watch.
Mhm.
And they could say, it's 15 minutes extra. I think they did it to, I think that's how they did the Richard Donner cut, is they put it on TV and they said, hey, you've never seen this. And it was also released for home video. But there's a scene where I think it was Lester's cut, where they're at that country town and the police and the military show up. And the kid that shows up in this scene, actually in the cut, gets on this horse and starts riding away, and one of General Zod's cronies actually shoots him and kills the kid with heat vision. And so it's like some of these things that they did in that movie were really weird. But anyways, that's my number 2. Number 1, V for Vendetta. Freedom fighter fighting to overthrow a tyrannical Britain. Basically, that's the long and short of that. Some people might say, "Oh, that was 2005," but it was released here March 17th of 2006. It was originally released in December of 2005 overseas, though. So I'm going to play the fact that we didn't get it until 2006. So I'm going to use that one.
That's what I was saying, because when I went online, I was looking. I seen 2005, then I seen 2006.
It was released in the States in
2006. Yeah,
and actually, I think up in Canada too.
Yeah, here too.
I think it was just North America, but I like the movie. It's just kind of cool. I know it's kind of taken on its own form with the face mask and all that people use it to kind of protest these days because of what the movie was about. And I can't remember if that's the one that has the United States with a second civil war. I don't know. A lot of these have that, where Britain's bad now and the United States is gone or severely diminished in power and things like that. So the dystopian future does not look good for the United States. And with the current crap going on right now, but I do like kind of that dystopian feel and all that. And like I said, if it's a Philip K. Dick movie, or if he wrote the basis of that movie, pay attention, because from now on, if there is a movie that's based off of one of his books, it's probably going to be in my top 5. Just saying. And then I got 5. I got 5 honorable mentions, and I'm not going to mention the 6th one because Terrence mentioned Daft Punk. So, but no,
anybody besides Chris got honorable mentions?
I want to shut him up for a minute.
Yeah, I got. I put Last Stand as an honorable mention only because it's a superhero movie. It's pretty trash.
I didn't even put that on my list.
No, it's trash.
The Last Stand is what?
X-Men.
X-Men: The Last Stand. X-Men 3.
That was my number 5, just because it was superhero. That's
Yeah,
the only reason why I made it.
And then my next honorable mention.
You paid me.
Yeah, it's trash, but when I looked at the sci-fi movies, some of them I didn't see. I remember not liking V for Vendetta, so I'll go back and watch that one because everybody has them on their list. But my other honorable mention is actually Candy Strippers. Even though I've never seen it.
Yes, I had
just
that.
like the name, I was like, okay, Candy Stripper is there. Honorable mention.
It's like, how the hell does it? And I watched that movie and I'm kind of going like, what the hell?
You actually watched it. I wouldn't watch that crap.
No, I watch a lot of crap just because it's worth. What? Wait, where did Danny go?
No idea.
Did he put himself in the Phantom Zone because he was that was such a horrible thing?
He must have.
Danny, come back! It's safe now. Anybody else have honorable mentions? I'll just take over. That's okay.
I've got Superman Returns as mine. Beyond that, I know it's technically not sci-fi, but I'm going to go with agree with one that was mentioned in the chat, which was Pan's Labyrinth. I know it's technically not sci-fi, but you know what? It's borderline.
It's
far as I
fantasy,
saw.
but I don't know. There's a fine line between fantasy and sci-fi in some senses. That was a really good movie, and the
Yes.
costume work and all of the oh man, that was visually stunning.
Guillermo del Toro is an artist.
Yes. Somebody told me that they were going to do a sequel to that.
That's what I heard too.
I'm not sure I'd want to see a sequel to that one.
I don't know either, but you know that doesn't stop people.
True.
They made a second Debbie Does Dallas, you know. So what's the point? Is she going to do it again? Sorry.
And any honorable mentions, Terrence?
Yeah, I guess if I'm going to pick one, it'll be V for Vendetta. A lot of humans don't know that is a DC property. I like I'm very big on dialogue and storytelling because I mean I talk to a lot of humans where they they want the action and the effects and stuff, and that's fine, but if you don't have the storytelling and the dialogue, I tend to be very unimpressed with the project as a whole. And V for Vendetta is very character driven, and it's narrative to say something to the people in reality in terms of what they're willing to put up with. Because the V character, he's a leader. He understands that you need to stand up for what you believe in. You need to be able to convince others why they should either do the same thing or why they should follow you, because most humans they cannot be leaders. Most humans are cowards. They need someone to tell them what to do. They will follow the norms of that of which is around them. They will even convince themselves that that's the right thing to do because everybody else said so. But you have someone like V that not only spoke his mind, but he did it in extreme fashion, taking over the televisions, giving people dates and times of when he was going to implement his plans, him not being afraid of the government or human authority figures, and everything that he said that he would do, he did it. And he did it in a way to where they could not stop him, and they fell right into his plans because a lot of that had to do with, them not really taking him seriously at first or believing that they can use the conventional methods to stop him, but he's not a conventional person. So they made a lot of mistakes in thinking that they could deal with him like any sort of regular terrorist. But while technically he's considered a terrorist, I'm like, yeah, I guess by definition, but I feel like he was trying to liberate people because they were trapped in a nightmare that they viewed to be as a dream, something that's pleasant. But you really need to show them that the way they're thinking is entirely wrong. Or if for whatever reason, if you can sort of show them another way and give them the option to choose, then you could end up with something wonderful in the end, after you go through all the various forms of violence. So I think that movie accomplished all that. And then Hugo Weaving's performance as V is just, for some reason, people don't mention it. Like, they bring up all these comic book movies and all these performances. They don't mention Hugo Weaving as V. It's actually kind of irritating when I think about it because, when you see V for Vendetta, it's very dialogue heavy, right? Like, they have some fight scenes in it that are really good, but that's not what it's about. It's not about that. It's not about portals opening up like an end game or this huge battle in the sky. You don't have that sort of stuff. Any sort of action or violence was meant to further the narrative of the V character. It was all necessary kind of things. So I think that the movie deserves more respect than it gets. But because it's not your typical comic book movie, it often doesn't get the respect that I believe that it deserves. And especially in today where you get a lot of comic book movies and shows, certain ones sort of blend in because they're all more or less the same thing. But V for Vendetta is truly different in a sea of comic book films.
I
So
actually
that's
thought you would
why
have put that in your top 5, to be honest with you.
I was going to, but I had certain things that I wanted to say about the other ones. But I mean, a top five is a top five. But to me, I feel like when I have information on whatever film, I can speak on it, and I'm not really too concerned about what order I place them in when I can get various humans to understand my point, whether they agree with it
I'm
or
gonna
not.
go out and buy Daft Punk's tomorrow because that sounds exciting.
It is. Dude,
Well,
I just said I was going to buy that tomorrow. What the hell? What you want me to say?
I just said
You
it was.
can watch it free on YouTube. I was just checking it out.
Yeah.
I want to pay.
I was like, I'll pass.
It,
Um,
I'll admit some curiosity about it because Terrence and my lists were almost identical except for the order, right up until he threw the robot one.
what was your list,
if
Terrence?
I'm gonna, I had my number 5 was Underworld Evolution.
See,
My number 4 was Ultraviolet.
Hmm.
My number 3 was The Covenant. Number 2, The Prestige. Number 1, Electroma.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to be honest, I feel like Electroma is the type of film where when you have a film class, like people that really like film and they want to be introduced to things that not everybody and their grandmother talks
Yes.
about, Electroma is something that I feel that you should show your class because more than likely they haven't seen it. They probably had no interest in it initially, but at the same time, you just kind of show it to them and see how they feel. But I don't feel that Electroma is like a movie that most would enjoy or clamor about. And a lot of that would have to do because it does not have the dialogue and things that people like. But for people that like to think very deeply, to me, it would be ridiculous for you not to appreciate that movie.
See, anybody that like any of these groups like that, like KLF did what I call road movie, where I don't think there's any dialogue in that movie at all. I can't remember with Electroma. Was there any dialogue in it?
No, not that I remember. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
there might have been like maybe slight at the beginning, but like most of it was just you had this really kind of chilling, subtle music in the background, and sometimes it would get really loud,
Yeah.
and then it would go really quiet, and it was just very strange in that way, but done from a really awesome artistic standpoint. I'm like, there is so much thought put into this that I feel that the average person would probably watch the first 10 minutes and go, I'm going to watch something else. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's up to them. But like I said, like you go through the journey and you really see how much intelligence is put in there. It's just, like I said, it's an acquired taste. And I feel like only a small number of humans will appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I love that movie. And I kind of, like I said, I debated whether or not to put it in my list at all because the fact that it is, in my opinion, okay, so Daft Punk, of course, is a music group, and I always looked at it more like a long music video to showcase what they're doing, but the visual, what they're showing you while they're doing it, is very good.
Right.
There's a story there, and that's what, and much like you said, Terrence, I love it when you can tell that story without having to say anything or much. And I love it when they do that.
And to be honest, like whenever it comes to, because I'm a big movie guy, whenever it comes to humans and their recommendations, while I pay attention to that, I also tend to pay attention to the stuff that humans don't tell me about. And there has to be a number of reasons for that. I'm like, no one mentioned this, which makes it more interesting to me. Because for whatever reason, they either don't know about it or it didn't click and they feel that they're not going to recommend it, which is not how you're supposed to do your recommendations. You're supposed to do it based off of what you feel that person may respond to, not how much you enjoyed the film.
Yeah, Daft Punk.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, Daft Punk also did the soundtrack to Tron Legacy, and I kind of wonder if they had left dialogue out of that movie, if that would have helped. Because I love Daft Punk's music, and it really adds to things, I think. So,
I really had a good time too, in high school with the film class. Stuff like he would show like A Clockwork Orange or Donnie Darko. Things of that sort where it's like people might have heard of it, but they don't really give it any sort of attention. And I'm like, yeah, let me see that because of course I'm gonna watch Superman Returns and all that other stuff because everybody watches those. Everybody talks about them. But what about all the other stuff?
Yep. No, I'm the same way. I took film appreciation class. I actually took 3 different film appreciation classes for that very reason, is to be immersed into things I wouldn't think of normally. So I have 5
Yeah, go ahead. Cause
I'm not going to go into much.
Put me to sleep with that last conversation. So yeah,
Come on.
for God's sake, change the set. The doggone.
No, I love Terrence. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Deja Vu, the Denzel Washington movie, pretty good.
I can't remember that. I can remember. I
was
remember the name of it. And I remember him being in it. And I remember the movie cover, but I cannot remember anything about that movie. Was he like a psychic or something?
No, he was a cop actually.
Yeah, and
Yeah, he was a cop.
yeah, it's an interesting. I don't know. It's got a good twist to it. Idiocracy. Sorry, I can't even say the word. God, that movie is becoming more and more real every day.
What's that about?
Okay, a guy, I think if I remember right, I can't remember the actor, the main actor, but he gets frozen. If I remember right, he gets thawed out.
Isn't Luke Wilson in that?
Yeah,
movie?
Luke Wilson. That's it.
Okay.
He gets found and thawed out, and he, in our time when the movie was made, like let's say 2006, he's a stoner. He's really stupid. He's not. I don't want to say really stupid. He's just not the smartest guy around. He's a stoner, a slacker, all this stuff, but. I guess he gets frozen. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I guess he gets frozen. They find him in the future at some time, unthaw him, and basically they make him president because he is the smartest person now in the world.
Yikes.
And it is so becoming true how that movie is. But
it's something like a serious version of Encino Man, or
no, this movie is not to be taken seriously.
Okay.
It is very much, in my opinion, a comedy because some of it is just so absurdly stupid sometimes. But it's a good movie. I mean, the thought process behind it. It took some, and I mean, like I said, it's not entirely sci-fi, but it is. It's Superman Returns is on there. I wasn't going to put that, even though I like that movie. I was not going to put that on the list because on the top 5 because. I'm probably in the very far majority.
It's one of the 3 worst Superman
I'm in the minority on my thoughts behind it. I didn't think it was that bad of a movie, but I do agree it's not the best. Maybe I just like the fact that Kevin Spacey, I think he did a good job with Lex Luthor. But yeah.
Superman movies to me are like Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
You got in Star Wars movie, I want to see a lot of damn lightsaber fights, some battle scenes. Throwing a good plot that is not totally crazy, and I'm happy. Superman, I want to see him do the incredible stuff, run faster than the speed of light, leap a tall building, do all kind of crazy stuff with X-ray vision and heat vision and cold breath, all that stuff. That's what I want to see. They only showed like really, if I can remember correctly, him stopping that airplane was cool in the baseball field, and the other thing with him living that Kryptonite island. Other than those 2 things, I can't remember anything else.
Yeah.
There was also the car. There was a few scenes. There was a good couple of scenes in that movie that were taken right out of the classic comics, and that's one of the reasons why I keep going back to it. Because when they every time they hit those scenes, and I'm there in the movie theater going.
I think his son stole the show with the guitar. I mean, playing on the piano,
Yes.
and then pushing the piano on the cook to save the mama and stuff. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell is his son got asthma? That doesn't make sense if he's the Man of Steel.
Because he's also part human.
And Danny, you said you don't remember Deja Vu, right? I just watched a clip of it and I remember. So Deja Vu, Denzel Washington's in the cop, right? And there's a boat that blows up. So now he has to go back in time to find out who did it before it happens.
The boat blows up. Okay.
Yeah, right. So that's the plot of it.
My next one is Underworld Evolution. It's Kate Beckinsale, and in that outfit, come on.
I love that franchise.
I could mute that movie and be like, "Thank you, Jesus." The Host. I
remember the title, but I can't remember the premise.
I don't remember. Yeah, man.
If I remember right, it's aliens, and it's kind of like Species, just not as good. And no, it's not like a woman or anything. If I remember right, it's just I don't know, kind of a knockoff, like not Alien, but something stuff like that.
I'm sure I've seen it too. I'm sure I've seen that movie.
I just remember it was all right. It's not. I said it's an honorable mention. There are some pretty good. There was the girl who jumped through time is a what do you call it? A Japanese animation movie that I thought was really good, like really good. I would. What was it? Oh shoot, the one that was released a couple of years ago. Aelita Battle Angel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same premise, but a girl just basically acquires the ability to jump through time, and she then wants to fix things in her life and change things in her life, but not thinking about what it changes in other people's lives. So it's pretty cool.
Reading the synopsis of the host, it looks kind of like the Creature of the Black Lagoon kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know.
They put some chemicals in some kind of river in South Korea. The creature mutates several years later and emerges from the waters and starts killing local residents.
It's
He lost me at it's like Species, but not as good. Species was pretty crappy to start with.
But
What?
see, listen,
Species was good.
Oh, God. Yeah, go figure. All the men are saying Species is good. I'm not saying it isn't because I liked it too. I'm just saying go figure. All the men said.
Well, I mean, but
this woman preys on men and what she does what with them?
I saw Species when I was a kid because my cousins told me it was a horror movie, and we had this thing where every weekend we would binge watch an entire horror franchise from all the different creatures and things of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, so I watched it. I didn't watch it for that female. I watched it because it was a horror movie. It was only when I watched it that I'm like, she looks perfect. No one I know looks like her. She looks like something that was made in a lab, or she, in that case, an alien. I'm like, yeah, she's perfect for that position.
Who was the chick in Fifth Element? It's kind of the same thing there. It's just the way that they portray her in that movie and Species is very much you can believe that persona, the person that they show,
Jovovich or something like that. I can't think of it in the Fifth Element.
Yeah,
something like that.
Jovovich.
I didn't even like when I was a kid. When I was watching it, I was like, how is this a horror movie? And it wasn't until she started ripping people apart in the cocoon and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, that just kind of was at first coming across as boring. I'm like, where are the horror aspects? I was used to the slashers and blood going everywhere. So I'm like, if it doesn't get to that soon, I'll probably check out.
The only good part, well, I like Bruce Willis. That was when he was kind of in his height on the Fifth Element, but Chris Tucker made that. Copy. That was funny.
I hated that movie.
What? You
Love that
Chris Tucker?
Fifth Element, I hated that movie. No, I didn't even find him funny in that movie at all.
Man, Chris Tucker is funny, man.
Anything with Bruce Willis. Come on.
No, not anything. No.
I appreciate that movie, but I'm not the biggest fan of
it. What's the guy that played Commissioner Gordon? He was in that too. I can't think of his name.
I'm gonna jump off here, guys. I gotta go get my kid now.
Yeah.
All right.
Run.
All right.
I'll try to get on my phone if you guys are going to be going for a few more minutes. So
yeah.
Right,
Gary
Oldman.
Yep.
Yeah, he starred in that too.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
He was a bad guy. Trash.
Do you have any more honorable mentions? Because we're right at an hour, and that's perfect time for me to start to wrap up. Unless we have any more honorable mentions.
No, I'm done.
I'm trying to see what would be a good year. I'm just going to pull out. Let's do 1999 in honor of Prince. 1999 movies. Be our next topic.
Sci-fi or
sci-fi?
All right.
It's always going to be sci-fi, bro.
Okay, just asking.
or do y'all want to change this up? Do y'all want best our favorite movies? Don't know genre. Just our favorite 5 movies from that year, or you want to keep it sci-fi?
For me, because like I'm into movies, I feel like it would be better just to pick a year, and then I could sort of go through all the genres.
Okay. We're gonna pick your favorite 5 movies of 1999. Doesn't have to be sci-fi, it can be any genre. That's gonna be
Okay.
next week's topic.
I'm
Good.
just gonna
1999.
say one of these guys did try slipping in Debbie Does Dallas.
Slipping
Who?
what?
Just saying.
Debbie Does Dallas.
That's
Yes.
not sci-fi.
No. Yeah, that's a different kind of sci-fi there, boy.
That's just what I'm saying though.
I get
Oh, okay. 1999 has a lot of good movies. I'm down for that one.
it. Okay. In honor of the Royal One, one of my favorite artists of all time, we're gonna do it in his memory. Next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1999 movies. Before we go, we're gonna go around the room, so to speak, and let
Oh,
everyone know. Go ahead.
Prince over Michael?
Uh,
Not
that's
going
hard, bro. That's hard.
Not
I
going
like both of them. I like both of them, bro.
Between
It's hard to say who
between
has the more material, man. I mean, man, you go on you go on
Their
YouTube and look at their
careers, yeah.
material, or look at their catalogs, and man, it's like song for song, song for song.
Mhm.
between the two, for me, it's 100% Michael. No
Me
thought
too.
required.
Yeah, me
Mm.
too. Me too. Don't get me wrong. I love Prince too, man. When he did that movie Purple Rain and brought out
Man,
Apollonia, damn.
man, both. I'm just gonna say that both the cats are bad, bro. Both the
Hmm.
cats were
Oh
bad.
yeah,
They were, they
neither
were
one of them will ever be topped. It will never happen.
Never.
the reason why I'm leaning towards Prince more because Prince can play instruments. There's a video you need to watch. He played with what's the guy? What's the guy that made and I won't back down.
And I won't back down.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
he's one of the traveling Woolberries. I can't think of his name. Chris would know who it is.
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
Yeah.
There's the video where he's on stage with Tom Petty and he's playing "My Guitar Gently Weeps." You can go check that out. I did not know Prince
Prince?
was that talented of a guitar player.
Oh
Prince?
yeah,
Yeah,
for
no,
Here it is,
sure.
right here.
No,
For sure.
you're
Are
right.
you
Dan.
talking about Prince there, Danny?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, no, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. The guy played like 37 instruments, like
Mhm.
virtuoso. I mean, he has, they say, close to 4,000 songs that are near completion that they could release.
We were just
And
comparing previously who do we like the best, Michael or Prince. I was saying both of them were bad.
Yeah. So there's a rumor, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's ever said it or not. Eric Clapton was stopped after like an award show or something one time, and Eric Clapton was asked, "What is it like to be the greatest guitarist alive?" And he looked at the reporter or whoever asked him the question and says, "I don't know. Ask Prince."
Well, I mean,
Prince was a bad man.
Michael got the biggest response from me, and my family will tell you that when I was a kid, like maybe 5 or something like that, when the Billie Jean and Beat It and stuff came on, I was mimicking his moves on the screen and singing and the whole thing, and I had my microphone and
Whoa, whoa,
all
whoa,
that
whoa,
stuff.
whoa. You mean to tell me Eric mimic someone who was not a martial artist?
Yeah, yeah,
What are you
bro.
talking about?
I gotta
Yeah,
write this
Michael
date
was the
down.
martial artist.
Yeah,
And
Michael was the man. You know, just like I thought he looked cool. I thought he sounded cool. His music videos were very impressive. His dance moves.
What's your
That
favorite
was
Michael
for me.
Jackson song?
Oh,
Thriller.
it would have to be
I'm gonna
between Beat
scratch
It
it. I'm gonna do
and
something. I'm gonna do something totally we've never done this before. We're not doing 1999 movies. Next week we're gonna do our top 10 Michael Jackson songs and our top 10
Ooh,
Prince songs.
okay.
That's gonna be the
Shit.
Yes,
Okay.
Both?
yes,
huh?
yes.
You talking about both artists? Like I'm a sit
No.
out on Prince because like I don't have 10 songs from him that I like.
What?
Oh,
Start binge watching on
oh,
YouTube.
Oh, I know I do.
No,
yeah.
I've heard them, but that's why I said that I had a bigger response to Michael.
That
Like
might take too
the
long.
What's
the
that?
greatness the greatness of Prince is there, and he has all of my respect. Like I specifically said that he and Michael will never be topped, but there's a
I,
difference between greatness
understand, bro?
and who I respond to. That's why I said that. So.
Well, 10 songs might be too long. Because that'd be 20
I,
songs.
yeah,
That'd be
I was
10,
going to say,
20,
I
Yeah,
think we
30.
have too
five
much
each.
Let's
time
do five.
off my
Five
head.
Five
each.
each.
Yeah.
We do 5 Michael Jackson, 5 Prince. That's gonna
Mhm.
be the next category topic we discuss next.
And
Next
just before you cut off, just to go off of what some of the terms with, like Michael Jackson, his videos used to play on prime time. You know what I mean? Bad came on at 8 o'clock on prime time CBS, and that was an event. You know, Thriller was
Yeah,
an
I
event.
remember.
It,
I remember Thriller came out when I was in 5th grade. I remember that.
so
Mhm.
so Danny, just to let you know, like there were certain things that were always on when I was a kid. That was professional wrestling. That was any sort of action or martial arts movie, horror
And Michael
movies, and
Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Those were the things
I got you.
all the time.
Hmm.
Well, you know what I think
Well,
about
you got
like Thriller. You were talking about Thriller. I remember MTV like every 30 minutes saying, "Guys, this is going to be dropping on." I can't remember the date now. It was like I want to say it was in
1980
winter.
something.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
just the sheer. Yeah, I mean, Michael Jackson was one bad dude.
And I
Actually,
remember
those
when
things.
I
Michael
was in
Jackson
Marine
was
Corps when The Way You Make Me Feel, not The Way You Make Me Feel, Remember the Time came out. I know that was
Remember the time.
with
that was that
And Michael
Magic
Jackson was
Johnson.
the Magic
Michael Jackson
Johnson,
was
Eddie Murphy.
yeah.
Yeah,
He was the first black artist on MTV.
I gotta talk to my grandpa because I know that he might still have them, but I remember he used to record me all the time when I was a kid. I'll ask him if he still has those tapes.
What, you singing
I
Michael
have to see
Jackson?
this.
No, we don't want to see that.
Singing and dancing.
I need to see this. I need to see like little Terrence go. No, Terrence needs this jacket, Mom, because
Was
Terrence
the
is working on
moonwalk?
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying this for anyone. This is just just to see if he still has them, so I can
Was,
sort of
was you
see him.
moonwalking, Terrence?
I tried. Anything that Michael was doing, I was trying all of that. Just because I thought he was so fascinating. So just, I mean, that's for me, just to kind of, sort of like I remember little bits, but for me to sort of sit down and see myself and go, wow, I did that or whatever. Like I don't remember that I did that part. That sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm going to
I used
veer
to
off a little bit
moonwalk all the time.
from our normal topics. Like I said, this is going to be a special edition. But the top 5 Prince, top 5 Michael Jackson songs next Monday night.
Well, okay, hold on. Prince and Michael Jackson released or just favorites?
Favorites.
I'm letting you know right now. I'm passing on Prince.
Bro, come on, man. You got a whole week. Listen. Hey,
I've heard this song.
okay,
Look.
When doves cry, bro.
Again, I'm not saying that they were bad. I'm talking about my response to the songs. I can easily.
But you like them though, right?
Okay.
They're fine, but I rather listen to Michael Jackson.
Told me that you could talk about any category intelligently with anybody. So why are you not doing this now?
Okay, if you want me to pick 5, I can. I'm just
I
being
do.
honest.
I want you to pick 5.
All right.
Yeah,
Yes,
me
sir.
too.
Thank you. All right, let's go around the room. First, we're going to start with Mad's Mama Bear. Tell the people where they can find you at, good ma'am.
Hey y'all, Mads Mama Bear here. You can find me at Mads Mama Bear here on YouTube, also on Twitter and on Instagram. You can find me at Mads Mama Bear 2, and that's the number 2. Where I'm on Instagram. I'm starting to put up teasers for upcoming videos, and thankfully, now that I've got it figured out, I am going to be able to go back to posting my videos again. And you can find me here Monday nights, and on Thursdays you can find me on the Queen's Council, but you'll have to follow me on Twitter to see whose channel we're going to be on.
Okay. All right, Terrence, where the people can find you at, good sir?
Hey, what's up, humans? It's Terrence. You can find me here on Danny's channel on Mondays, like today, and then Sundays, Equilibrium, and then you can find me on the Tremaine Terrence channel. And there's definitely some stuff over there. You never know what might pop up, but the whole purpose, honestly, I'm doing all this for myself because it's fun for me. In the event that it stops being fun, well, I would imagine that something like this would happen.
Did you?
Oh,
You
God.
kicked him?
No, he did that himself. I had
Oh,
nothing
he
to do
did.
with that. All
Yes,
right,
Danny.
Chris.
I'm sure it is.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Chris Knight, Real Review 3000. Here on Chaos Central, we do it here. We do it on our own channels, but I have the Rule of Three on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then of course Danny right here on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I won't be late again. Sorry. And then Tuesday, tomorrow night, over here on Anza's channel with the Chaos List, and then you can find me just about anywhere. I'm on a lot of people's channels. I jump around. I like getting on streams and stuff. I got a lot of stuff that I got planned for my channel. The Weekly Rumble, check that out. I know a lot of people seem to like that, and I get a good response about it. I have some of these gentlemen on here, and I think, Mads, I've had you on a couple times.
Yes.
Yeah, so but check us out. I just found out today I have 51.8% people who watch my channel who are not subscribed. So I know that the math won't work out this way, but that means I could be well over 5,000 subscribers. And I'm trying to get up to 3,000 right now. So if a small percentage of those people would come over and subscribe, if you're not subscribed, consider looking at my videos. If you like what you see, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And subscribe to all these great people here too. Especially Terrence, because Terrence is awesome because he picked that Daft Punk movie. I mean, that's
No, I have to revoke Terrence Black card for that one.
no.
You know what's interesting? You know what's interesting about that statement? Like, if I had a quarter every time I heard that, I'd be richer than Bill Gates. So I'm like,
And you probably wouldn't be black either.
my thing is like, my thing is that there are different types of black people. So to say that black people have to be one way is fucking ridiculous. Period.
Exactly.
I hear you on that, Terrence. All right, Anzo, where can the people find you at, sir?
Yep. You can find me, my channel, Bigger Ford Entertainment. You catch me on the 3 Chaos shows. That's the Chaotic Conversation, the Chaotic List, and the Rule of Three. Tonight we'll be on Storms Live once again, like we always are. We also have Square One on Saturday. Actually got another dude that wants to come in on that, Danny. And Sunday we have Equilibrium. Yeah, so come check us out, and like Chris said, come subscribe to all our channels. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. We put out good content, so if you guys like it, come check us out.
Yeah, check out Chaos Central too on YouTube and subscribe to that. We're trying to get that up to 100 subscribers also. But
We
yeah, so
I got it on Chaos and also this one tonight, so we doing it simultaneously.
Finally got it right this time, Danny.
Finally got it right. Yeah, I'm a visual learner, man. If I see it, I get it.
no,
So, I am Danny. This is my channel on YouTube, Comment Chat. The show is Chaotic Conversation. These are my peeps. Every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find us here. Please catch us next Monday. I think it will be a very entertaining show because to go through both of those artist catalogs is going to be.
Yep.
I know what my number one Michael Jackson song is right now. I don't know what my number one Prince song. So it's going to be very interesting and very fun trying to put the number one Prince song. I'm going to
put a disclaimer out there. I am not going to label them as my favorite because I don't do top fives of music. I just can't.
I know my favorite Michael Jackson song. I play it just about every week.
Fortunately, I already have my list. So
for who?
No, I said fortunately, I already have my list. So
for Michael,
for both.
Oh yeah, both already. Damn, this dude said he ain't got no time to do Prince or don't want to do.
Don't
Prince.
you understand?
I got it already.
Also, when he went out, he went back in time and talked with them extensively about every song they'd ever written.
Yep.
And then he came up with his list, and that took him a couple of years to do. Yep. And then he came right back in the chat, and now he's here, and he's like, "I'm ready."
That's
Yep.
why Terrence don't ever show his picture, because he's
Exactly.
older than we think he is, because he's been traveling back and forth through time.
Mhm.
Telling you.
That's why he's so pissed off about the time travel with Endgame.
Endgame,
They're about to reveal his secret.
For
Look,
the
y'all get
humans
too close.
listening, for the humans listening, I would say that is a interesting exaggeration. I am not mad. I love Endgame. It's just sometimes in life you gotta let humans know when something's stupid.
Notice
But,
he did not argue the time travel theory.
No, he did not. He did
Exactly.
not.
I'm just
He
telling
went
you,
straight
I know his secret, and he doesn't know it. But I'm going to be dead in the next week probably because I figured it out.
And to your point, Chris, man, I love how humans always think they know what's going on with Terrence, boy.
You see?
CJ's, it's gonna be top 5, bro, not top 3. I know that's your. I don't want to take your bag. I know you the top 3 master, but it's gonna be the top 5 for us. Also tomorrow night, catch us on the Chaos List with Anzo. He'll be hosting that. Some interesting questions coming up. And then you can catch us again Saturday on Square One. Seems like everybody wants to be on that show, so we're gonna try and get people in and out of there. That's our sports show. It's starting to pick up a lot of steam, so if you can catch the show, please catch it. That's from 4 to 6 every Saturday afternoon Eastern Standard Time. Also Sunday, there's 2 shows that we do together. The Rule of 3, which is at 3, if I'm not mistaken, 3
Yep.
3 p.m. Eastern Standard
Eastern.
Time, and then
That's time.
5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is Equilibrium with myself, Terrence, John, and Anzo. We were very pleased with the turnout we had last Sunday, and we got, for us, was fantastic, almost 300 views. So we are definitely pleased with those numbers. So everyone in the chat, thank you. We appreciate it, and we will catch you next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Peace.
Peace.
Later.